You guys always do this. Always do that. We always do this.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Kanada'nın Gözde Kolejlerinden Langara College'da Eğitim ve Vancouver'da Yaşamı, Gregory ve Onur Bey'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı sağ alt köşede Questions bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Buyurun Onur Bey, sahne sizin.
Herkese Langara College webinarından selamlar. Bu düzenlediğimiz takribi 10. webinar olacak. Sene içinde birçok kez düzenliyoruz ve Langara College'dan Gregory Bey detaylı bilgiler veriyor. Langara College'daki programlar ve diğer tüm detaylarla ilgili. Ben kendi eğitim danışmanlığından katılıyorum. 20 yıldır yaklaşık bu okulla beraber çalışan bir firmayız. Ve kendim Langara College mezunuyum. Programlar, giriş şartları ve diğer birçok detayla ilgili bilgi verecek Questions bölümüne aynen dediği gibi Zeynep Hanım'ın sorularınızı yazarsınız. Hem program gidişatında hem de sonunda da cevaplandırıyor olacağız. Vancouver şehri Kanada'nın en batı ucunda kar yağmayan bugünkü gibi ılıman güzel bir şehridir. Aklınıza gelen sorularınızı bekliyoruz. Şimdi Gregory Bey'e devredeceğim. Hi Gregory.
Yeah, hello Onur, and hello everybody in Turkey. Thank you for joining the Study at Langara webinar. Thank you for the introduction. So great to be here. Great to give this presentation. My name is Gregory Pokorny, Manager of International Marketing and Recruitment at Langara College in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So I believe it's maybe early evening or late afternoon there in Turkey. It's just after 7 a.m. here in Vancouver. But I'm very happy to join this webinar and give you some information about Langara College. I believe that Onur maybe explained, you can write any questions in the Q&A box. We'll have some time at the end of the presentation to answer your questions live that you've asked during the presentation. So feel free to put your questions there. So without further ado, I'll get started. So this is about Langara College in Vancouver. So the city of Vancouver, we're on the west coast of Canada. It is the third largest city in Canada. Toronto is the largest city in Ontario. Montreal is the second largest in Quebec. And Vancouver is the third largest metropolitan area located in British Columbia on the west coast. It's usually rated as one of the top cities in the world to live, and it's got the nickname of Hollywood North. This Hollywood North comes from many of the films and movies and television series and studios, film studios and everything that are located in Vancouver area. So there's a lot of filming that goes on in and around Vancouver and BC. So that's why it's got that nickname of Hollywood North. And another point I'd like to explain about is the mild temperatures. Now, this is when we compare in reference to other parts of Canada. So we do have 4 seasons a year, but in the winter time, usually the average temperature will range between 0 and 5 degrees Celsius. So maybe cold compared to where you are, but compared to other parts of Canada where winter could be -10, -15, -20 for many long stretches of the winter, 0 to 5 degrees is quite a bit warmer. So also about Vancouver, it's a very multicultural city with over 20% of the people who make Vancouver their home. Maybe they were born overseas. So but now live in Vancouver. So median age are just over 42 and one of the lowest unemployment rates in Canada. This is kind of before the pandemic. So obviously it's a little bit different during the pandemic, but coming out of the pandemic, we hope to get back down to this low unemployment rate. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off basically and explain about, we get a lot of questions and emails about what why somebody should consider college and what are the benefits of that, or what is the difference between a college and a university, because there is some differences in Canada between the college and university. So there's a few factors to consider, and I've outlined them on this slide. The first factor that colleges have or benefit is the choice, flexible study options. Usually there's, 3 semesters a year. Students maybe not sure what they want to study after high school. So there's a lot of flexibility to kind of take courses, find out what you like or what you're good at. So a lot of flexibility there. Adaptability. This is looking at the actual class size. So when you go to a big university, usually, you could be in first year classes, you could be sitting in a lecture hall with 200 or 300 other students. But normally in a college, the class sizes are a lot smaller. At Langara, we keep the class sizes under 35 students. I believe the average class size is 32 students. So you get a chance to know your classmates, you get a chance to talk to your instructor, interact with everybody. It's a more intimate academic setting, and students seem to do well in that setting. Another factor to consider are the grades. Now, coming out of high school in Turkey, depending on the subject that you want to study, normally Langara works on an open access policy for the grades. So we're not so concerned with what grade you got in your grade 11 or your grade 12 in your high school. So as long as you've graduated high school, then you can usually gain admission to most of the programs at Langara. Now, there may be some additional requirements, and one maybe exception is maybe engineering, because engineering, they will look at physics and they'll look at chemistry and they'll look at math. So in that case, they do look at the grades. But for almost every other undergraduate program, as long as you've graduated, then you can meet the requirement and get admission. The other requirement, of course, is English, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. Course load. So compared to universities, normally universities work on a kind of 2 semesters, but at Langara and other colleges, they work on 3 semesters, tri-semester. So you can spread out your courses over each semester. So you can lighten the course load, and that way you can do better in your courses. And the final factor is the investment, tuition fees. So a college like Langara could be seen as more affordable than a university. And in the next slide, you will see here, this is a tuition fee comparison for business programs. So somebody's international student is taking business. So just an example. These are, you can see here, 4 different institutions in BC. They're all great institutions, but you can see the tuition fees for international students is quite a bit different. So for UBC, the international student taking business will pay 51,000 Canadian dollars in tuition fees only. Simon Fraser, 33,000, UVic just under 25,000, and Langara just under 19,000. So if you're doing 1 year of courses at Langara, and then you're transferring to one of these bigger universities, you are saving yourself quite a bit of money. If you're doing 2 years and then transferring, because we have this transfer system in place, which I'll explain, then you are even saving even more money. So that's just about the tuition fee comparison. Okay, so Langara College is a public community college. And when I say public, that means government funded. And students, when they're studying at Langara, they are able to work part-time during their studies, and they are eligible for Pgwp. Now you may ask, what is Pgwp? That means post-grad work permit. So in Canada, when you graduate from a school, like a college or university that is a designated learning institution, then there's eligibility. You're eligible for this post-grad work permit. Normally, the post-grad work permit is 3 years. And you can only apply for that once. So when you finish with a Langara credential, let's say you do a 2-year associate degree, or you do a 2-year diploma, or you do a 2-year post-degree diploma, postgraduate diploma, then you're eligible for 3-year post-grad work permit. And then this later, once you get the work permit, this could eventually later lead to a pathway to permanent residency. Okay, so I mentioned it's a public community college. We're located right in the heart of Vancouver. This picture is showing the downtown of Vancouver. You can see the tall buildings, the skyscrapers, and you can see the mountains in the distance, and you can see the ocean. So it's right on the ocean. That is the downtown. Now, this picture showing the map, this gives you an idea. So if you see the slide before, there's the downtown. And if you look at the map, you can see the downtown is at the top of that map. So that's the picture I just showed you before. And you can see this black line running north and south from downtown going to the Vancouver airport at the bottom. So that black line is the SkyTrain line, the Canada line. So it's the metro. So it's one of the metro lines going from downtown to the airport, and about halfway down, you can see the main campus of Langara. So we are a 17-minute SkyTrain ride to downtown Vancouver. It's about 15 minutes SkyTrain ride to the airport. 15 minutes by bus to UBC. It's a little bit longer than that because I just recently took that bus. So it's probably about closer to about 30 minutes. So I should update this slide. But anyway, it's pretty centrally located and located in a quiet residential area. The other good thing is you really cannot get lost because the station that Langara is located at is called Langara 49th Avenue. So when you're taking the Canada line, SkyTrain line, and you come up to the stop, they will announce, oh, this is Langara 49th Avenue. So you can see the picture there. So you get off at that station and you walk 5 to 7 minutes and you're on the campus. So it's very accessible by public transportation. Sorry, it's morning here, so I need I need some coffee to get going here. This slide is just showing. I mean, we have students coming from all over the world. We have over 100 countries where students are coming from. As I mentioned, the classes are small. You get personal attention. I mentioned about the average class size, about 32 students, and from the student outcome survey, 96% of the students were satisfied with the quality of education that they received. So if they're transferring to a bigger university, they felt very prepared going on to university. If they're not going on to university, they felt prepared. They got their degree or their diploma, then they're ready to go to the workforce. So Langara does have a long history. It was established in 1970. As I mentioned, the 3 intakes a year and the short walk from the Langara 49th SkyTrain station. So it's a fairly big college. 23,000 is the annual enrollment. As I mentioned, over 100 countries. Our Turkish population, I believe, is about just under 15. So it's not many, but it's growing. So, we do have Turkish students, and we're getting more and more interest from Turkey, which is great to see. On any given term, as I mentioned, we have the 3 terms. We have about 16,000 students, and about 1/3 of the students are international students. So it's international students make up a large portion of the student body. So some pictures of the campus with the different over the different seasons. The aerial view. So this aerial view is showing you can see behind the campus is the golf course. You can see the campus there. You can see all the houses, the residential area. If you look at the top of the picture, you can see the kind of tall buildings there by the mountains. That is the downtown area. So as I mentioned, if you take the SkyTrain, it's 17 minutes to downtown. And the campus map here, is just showing the different facilities. So of course you got a library, you got the T building, which is the tech science lab building, gymnasium, the A, B, C building, Langara Student Union. There's cafeteria, coffee shops, clubs, counseling area. We do have a medical clinic on campus, so that's they have a rotating doctor and nurse, which is not common on college campuses and universities. So that's quite unique, and that's reassuring. If there's any kind of medical situation, students can just go into the medical clinic and get that medical attention that they need. Okay, so I've kind of introduced about Langara a little bit in a general level. I'll now look at resources for the students. And one of the most important centers on campus is called the Co-op and Career Development Center. This is important because many of the programs at Langara do have co-op options. So if you're not familiar with co-op, that means work term or internship. In Canada, we call it co-op. So it means to work during your studies and getting that work experience. So at this Co-op and Career Development Center, it's just for the Langara students. There's an online job board that's just for the Langara students to find part-time jobs, to find jobs after graduation. They hold many workshops, interview skills, resume building, any kind of workshop to help students when they're looking for a job or a career. There's many fairs, career fairs, job fairs, alumni events, and so on. Industry networking events. There's these morning meetings, morning mingles, peer-to-peer career leaders program. So this center is a very popular center on campus. Many of the students access this center, go there, and take advantage of those resources. So explaining more about co-op, as I mentioned, many of the programs at Langara have this co-op option, this work term. It's either mandatory on some programs or other programs it's optional. It's full-time paid work in your area of studies, and you can see the duration is about 16 weeks, 4 months. So 420 hours, 16 weeks. So you're not going to Langara going to class, you're going to a company or you're going to an organization, and you're working and you're getting that work experience and you're getting paid. So it's a good way to apply the knowledge that you've gained, develop those professional skills, and you just kind of submit a work term report. So instead of going to class, you submit this work term report, what you've done at your job, what you're learning, your feedback, and so on like that. And that is submitted instead of going to class. And you're able to still work your part-time work if you have a part-time job during that as well. Okay, so we get a lot of questions, and over the last couple of years, I've been doing the webinars with IEFT Talks, and finally, for the first time, I can talk about scholarship. So Langara does have scholarships for the current students, and those are based on once the student is a full-time student, every semester, in almost every program, there's scholarships. Now, we just announced, and it's on our website, we do now have an entrance scholarship or entrance award program. So this is not full scholarship, it's $5,000, and the student must still apply to Langara, and this entrance award is, you fill out this application, it's based on academic achievement, there are some criteria, and then you can be eligible for a $5,000 Canadian entrance award. So that's exciting. We've never had this before. It was just announced at the beginning of March. So it's now on our website. You can look at that, click on the link and find out more. And as I mentioned about the scholarships for the current students, those are posted every term, and students must be full-time students. Okay, so about accommodation. So at Langara, we do not have any, no dormitory, or there's no residence. All the students that attend Langara stay off campus. Now, one option that we do have for new students is the homestay, and that means living with a Canadian family. So we have our own dedicated homestay department that will help match student if you like to live with a Canadian family. So this is room and meals are provided. It's maximum 2 students in a house. So it'd be 2 male students or 2 female students. Each student would get their own private bedroom and then share the facilities. So it's a good way to practice English, learn about the culture, explore about Vancouver, and so on. They try to match a student with similar interests to the family. The cost of this is for 1 month is $1,050 Canadian. So that's including the meals. So keep in mind, including the meals. So if we get to the point where you have applied to Langara and you're interested in this option, you would just let me know, and I put you in contact with the homestay department. They work right next to us, and they handle everything, the application, arranging for airport pickup, and so on. So that is the one option that we do have. Okay, there's a lot of support for the students on campus. So this support, you know, we did have it virtually because we were doing virtual lessons before during the pandemic, but now we've moved face-to-face. So there's tutoring support, writing help, research. This is all in-person, on-campus support. There's a lot of counseling for students, personal counseling, career counseling, mental health counseling, academic counseling. So this is all available either online or face-to-face for the students. So for athletics, we do have, Langara does participate in kind of college or sports league, and it's for 3 sports. The 3 sports are basketball, soccer or football, and golf. And it's for male and female. So these are all student athletes. They're all studying at Langara, and they're playing on the Langara team. So if you excel in one of these sports, basketball, soccer, or football, either male or female, then you know, let's say you excel in one of these sports and you try out for the Langara team once you're on campus, and you try out for the team and you make the team, then there is a tuition discount, a significant tuition discount. It's not an athletic scholarship, we can't call it that, but it's a pretty big tuition discount as one of the players on the Langara sports team. So I just put that out there in case there's any you know, people that excel in one of these 3 sports. Okay, so I'm getting into the programs at Langara, and just a quick update about the pandemic. So, you know, until September 2021, we were basically doing online, but since September, last September, we returned to campus in-person class. The January semester that we're currently in right now, it goes from January to April, so it finishes next month. It is also being on campus, face-to-face. We expect May 2022, September 2022, January 2023, also to be delivered face-to-face. So we're preparing for that unless something drastic happens with the pandemic. We are coming out of that, it seems, and restrictions are easing. So we expect to be on in-person classes. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the programs at Langara, and we have about 5 different ones. We have university transfer, bachelor's degrees, career programs, post-degree or postgraduate programs, and Langara EAP. And I'll talk about each of these in the coming slides. So, you know, as I talked about these, you know, whatever kind of program you want to do, or what your plans or your journey, we're ready to meet those. So either through university transfer, a bachelor's degree, LEAP, or career programs. So the first one here, university transfer. In British Columbia, there's a very robust transfer system in place. And what that means is students can start their studies at a college like Langara and take 1 year or 2 years of courses, and then transfer the credits that they've earned to continue their studies at a university. So, as the slide shows there, start at Langara, transfer the credits, and complete your degree at a university. Langara is the largest transfer institution to UBC. Now, you may wonder, well, why go to Langara? I'll just go straight to university. Well, if you can, and you can afford that, by all means, you can do that. But what we know is many students, it's not easy to get direct entry into some of the bigger universities. So they can get direct entry into Langara, get used to everything, get their credits that are going to transfer, and then transfer after 1 or 2 years. So this is just showing that pathway that I just explained. So you start at Langara year 1, and then you could transfer into year 2 at the university. What many students will do, though, is they'll complete an associate degree. So complete 2 years, 60 credits, and then transfer into year 3. So it's either a 1+3, 1 year at Langara, and then 3 years at the university, or 2 years at Langara, and then 2 years at the university. So it's a 1+3 or 2+2. Keep in mind, you cannot do 3+1. You cannot do 3 years at Langara and then just go do 1 year at the university. It doesn't work that way because Langara has limited courses in 3rd and 4th year. So most of the courses at Langara are in 1st year, 2nd year. So that's why you can complete an associate degree and then transfer the credits. Now, also keep in mind, some students are confused because they think, okay, I'm starting at Langara, and then when I transfer, I'm going to start over at the university in year 1. That's not the case. Remember, you're going to transfer your credits. So it's not like you're wasting your time or you're wasting your money studying at Langara, because those credits are going to transfer to the university and then you just pick up and keep going. So it's not starting over again. So I just wanted to explain that a bit more. And for the programs for university transfer, they're all under the Associate of Arts and Sciences. So you can see, I'm not going to read each one of these, but you can see the 5 broad categories: arts, business, health, science and technology, humanities, and social sciences. So these are all areas that students can study. Now, I know that the owner who is on this webinar, owner has some direct experience. Owner, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so maybe you could explain, owner. I know that you attended Langara and you transferred not in BC, but you transferred to York University in Ontario. So it is possible to transfer out of province. Maybe you can explain in Turkish to the audience about your own university transfer and how it works.
Langara College'da başta Science okuyordum. Sonra Business'a geçtim. Ama iki taraftan da birçok ders aldım. Toplam 63 kredim vardı. 2 senelik kredi toplam 60'tır. 63 kredinin maksimum süresi maksimum sayısı 60'tır. 60'ın hepsini transfer ettim. BC içinde, British Columbia eyaleti içinde bir üniversiteye, SF, Simon Fraser'a, University of Victoria, UBC'ye. Bunlara transfer olmak isterseniz BC Transfer Guide'dan birebir bakabiliyorsunuz hangi programlar, hangi dersler o üniversitedeki hangi derse tekabül ediyor diye. Eğer eyalet dışında bir yere başvuracaksanız, ben Alberta'ya başvurdum, Ontario'ya başvurdum ve Ontario'da York Üniversitesi'ne gitmiştim. Orada da bazen konuyu anlıyorlar, direkt kabul ediyorlar veya lütfen okulunuzun sitesinden dersin olduğu sayfadaki course description'ı, ders tanımını, hangi dersler, hangi konular işlendi diye onu alın diyorlar. Onlarla beraber hepsini göndermiştim, değerlendirildi ve 2 sene tamamıyla sayılıp 3. seneden ben York Üniversitesi'ne devam ettim. Yani maksimum 60'tı, ben de 60'ını kabul ettirdim. Kolay bir işlem. Yani yeter ki doğru dersler almak önemli. BC Transfer Guide'a bakmak önemli. Başka eyalete gidecek olursanız bile yine de olsanız da BC'nin içindeki üniversiteler kabul ediyorsa diğerleri de kabul eder. Just one little detail, I said quite a few things, but I said even if you're planning to go to another province, still check your courses transferring to a university in BC. If they are, then they're most likely transferable to universities in other provinces.
Yeah, that's a good point, and thank you, owner, for explaining your situation. I don't understand Turkish, but I get that you were explaining about transferring out of the province and checking BC Transfer Guide and so on. That so that it's just like an extra step, though. If you're going to transfer out of the province, you do have to check with the university that you're applying to, make sure they accept the credits. Normally, like owner mentioned, if the credits will transfer to UBC or SFU, then they're going to transfer to University of Toronto or York University or Queen's or whatever university. So there's maybe an extra step. You have to maybe submit your course outline and your course description and your transcripts, but it's just one extra step, but it's still fairly efficient.
One more thing, sorry to interrupt. If they want to transfer to the US or UK, this is quite, easy as well. They have to send the course descriptions, but I can translate. I can say that in Turkish as well. Eğer Amerika'da veya İngiltere'de bir okula gitmek istiyorsanız, özellikle Amerika'da bu da mümkün. O ders tanımlarıyla ilgili daha belki bir ekstra iş yapmanız gerekir ama Amerika'daki üniversitelere de geçmek mümkün oluyor. Yani derslerinizin hemen hemen hepsi sayılır. Especially in the US, I said, you can easily transfer.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. Like we have some students that will transfer some credits from from their schools in their home country to Langara. It is a little bit of lengthy process. So, but we would just same thing. We would require the course outline. We would require the course transcript, and we require the students' marks, the transcript, the syllabus, and outline, and then they would evaluate that and then transfer and accept those credits. So I think it's the same as, like you said, USA or UK or another country, same sort of process.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. Yeah, so that's a little bit more about a little bit further explanation about university transfer. So a lot of students do this, the undergraduate students. That's what Langara is really known for, as a pathway college. So coming to Langara first, students doing 1 year, 2 years, getting their associate degree, then transferring to a university like UBC or SFU or UVic or whatever, and then completing their bachelor's degree. Now, speaking of bachelor's degrees, we do have 3 bachelor's degrees at Langara. So when I say bachelor's degree, I'm talking a 4-year degree, and these are done at Langara. So you're not transferring, you're doing all 4 years at Langara. We have a Bachelor of Science in Bioinformatics. So this is kind of that study of biology, computer science, genetics, and so on like that. We have a Bachelor of Business Administration, so BBA. So this is in 4 areas. Students can study accounting or marketing management or international business management or business management. So it's a BBA doing all 4 years at Langara, and we have a Bachelor of Recreation Management. So actually for this program, students will start in a diploma of recreation leadership and then ladder into the Bachelor of Recreation Management in their 3rd and 4th year, but that's all done at Langara as well. Now, Langara also has career programs. These are not students that are transferring. These are 2-year diploma programs, and students would finish the 2-year diploma, then go into the workforce. Very practical education, hands-on learning. Some admission to these programs can be competitive, and there's limited seats, so we always tell students to apply early. Some of these 2-year diplomas, they can be in business, computer studies, fine arts, journalism, early childhood education is very popular, criminology, kinesiology. These are not all of them, but these are just some of them. Langara does have 1-year certificate. You can see like film arts, education assistant, internet web technologies. Keep in mind though, if it's a 1-year certificate, the post-grad work permit is only 1 year. So it matches. If you do 2-year diploma or 2-year associate degree or 2-year post-degree diploma, the post-grad work permit is 3 years. So you're getting kind of an extra year. But if you do 1-year certificate, you're not getting an extra year. Your work permit, your post-grad work permit will be only 1 year. So just keep that in mind. Now, we have a number of post-degree diploma. And when we say post-degree, we're talking about postgraduate. Now, I get lots of questions. Students say, I want to do a master's or I want to do a PhD at Langara. Keep in mind, in Canada, community colleges do not administer master's degrees, do not administer PhDs. If you're looking for master's or PhD, if that's what you have to study and that's what your goal is and you want to study that, I cannot help you. I cannot offer something that Langara doesn't have. What Langara and community colleges do have, though, is they do have these postgraduate or post-degree diploma programs. So it's like a college version of a master's, but we cannot call it that. They're more kind of practical. There's usually a work term. They are for 2 years, and you do need a bachelor's degree, but it's not a master's degree, okay? So if that's what you're looking for, master's, PhD, please seek out the universities in Canada. So for the post-degree diploma programs at Langara, we have 10 of them, and you can see them all listed here: business administration, marketing, accounting. We have a web and mobile app. There's 2 programs actually: web and mobile app design, web and mobile app development. So one is more on the user interface front end, the development more on the back end, the coding, programming. We have data analytics, is very popular. Nursing practice in Canada, that is for international nurses. This is not undergrad nursing. We do have undergrad nursing at Langara, but it is not open to international students. So this is for an international educated nurse and who has a nursing license. Supply chain and logistics is a very popular program because Vancouver is a port city. It's a big industry in Vancouver, so freight, shipping, cargo, any kind of things that are related to supply chain and logistics it's a big industry, and that's a very popular program. So at Langara, we do have an English language requirement, and most of the programs at Langara fit into Category 2 or Category 3, and you can see there are some of the requirements. For Category 2, 6.5 in IELTS. Category 3, same thing. TOEFL, if you've done TOEFL, we need 88 or 80. And we are accepting Duolingo for the next 3 semesters. So May, September 2022, and January 2023, we are accepting Duolingo. You need a score of 110 for that. Now, for those that don't meet the English language requirement, we do have the Langara EAP. So this is English for academic purposes, and students can start. We have 8 levels. And if you get to level 8, then you can get, for some of the programs, you can get conditional admission to regular studies program. Each LEAP level each session is 7 weeks, and it costs just over $3,000 per session. So, I mean, that is an option if you want to, if your English is a little bit lower level and you want to kind of go steady and improve your English to prepare for academic studies, you can join LEAP and get conditional admission to some of the programs. My advice would be, if you're close to getting, like if you got a 6.0 in IELTS or you got a 105 in Duolingo, maybe try to get the requirement because you're almost there. Then you wouldn't have to take LEAP and pay the money for, you know, the LEAP lessons or LEAP sessions, which are, as I said, $3,000 a session. Okay, so just finishing up here, we have a lot of high demand occupations. These are just some of them listed here in Vancouver. So this is after you've done your studies. And you can see here we have business, accounting, auditing, supply chain, which I mentioned, animation, film, because it's a big industry, advertising, web design, nursing, early childhood, educators, very popular, very in demand as well. And just in a couple of years ago, the BC labor market, they put out this outlook, and this 10-year outlook is from 2019 to 2029. So right now we're in 2022. So we're getting close to the middle of this 10-year window. And you can see here, due to the economy expanding and due to many people retiring, they foresee that there would be 860,000 new jobs in British Columbia in this 10-year window. So most of those jobs, as you can see, over 75%, 77% will go to people that have some type of academic credential. So a diploma, a certificate, apprenticeship, a bachelor's degree, or some kind of professional degree. So if you're coming to BC and you're studying, and then you're graduating, and then maybe you're getting the 3-year work permit, you are coming into a labor market with a lot of jobs. So the admission requirements, so as I alluded to earlier, successful completion of high school. If you're applying to the post-degree diploma, then you need a university degree, meet the English requirement, and then any other additional program requirements. So for the application procedure, we need your academic requirements. So in this case, we would require the scan of your diploma, your high school diploma, or your transcripts. It has to be a PDF scan. It has to be in color. So no cell phone pictures. So it has to be PDF, and that will act as the official transcript. So you scan that, then you upload it to the EPBC application portal. Anything that's in another language, if it's in Turkish, then we need notarized English translations. You submit your IELTS, your Duolingo score, your TOEFL score. If it's Duolingo or TOEFL, they are sent directly from ATS or from Duolingo directly to Langara. If it's IELTS, you upload the copy of the IELTS TRF and any other additional requirements. So document evaluation, depending on the program, we are a little bit backlogged and we're working through this, but 6 weeks or sooner for the complete applications. An email offer letter is issued to the student, and you must, once you get the offer, you've met the requirements. Once you get the offer of admission, you have to pay a $6,000 Canadian tuition deposit. Once Langara receives that $6,000, then the official letter of acceptance is issued. Then you apply for the Canada study visa. Now, once you get approval for your study visa, then that $6,000 that you paid will essentially pay for the first semester's tuition. You may have to top up a little bit more once you register for your courses, depending on how many courses you take and the supplementary fees. But essentially that $6,000 goes toward your first semester. Then every semester when you register for your courses, you pay. So it's a kind of pay as you go. So you do not have to pay the full tuition at the beginning. You do have to pay $6,000 though to get the LOA. Now, if the visa is refused, I mean, hopefully not, but it does happen, then we need the refusal letter, and there's a request for tuition refund form, and you submit that before the semester starts, and then you would receive the full $6,000 tuition deposit refund. Now, if you didn't apply for the visa and you change your mind, or you wanted to apply to another school or something like that, and then you ask for the refund, you didn't apply for the visa, you were not refused, then Langara would keep $1,500. So you would lose the $1,500 commitment fee. So you'd be refunded $4,500. So that's in the case of not even applying for the visa. So I just wanted to state that there's a couple differences there. Okay, so wrapping up here, why Langara? I've touched on all these points. It is a public government-funded institution located in Vancouver, great location, one of the largest university transfer programs in BC, and the largest to UBC. Smaller class sizes, the lower tuition fees compared to universities, diploma, certificate programs, post-degree diploma programs, training, academic EAP, and you're able to work during your studies. Students can work 20 hours a week, and you're eligible for the post-grad work permit, PGWP, at the end of your studies. So that brings me to the end of my presentation, and I really thank you for your attention, and I think we have time to go through the questions, but there's my contact information. You can email me directly. I think Owner will also put his email in the chat box. He is working with Langara as one of our partners, so you can also email directly to Owner for local support. My marketing assistant, Somaz Marabani, she's not on this call, but you can also email her, and you can follow our our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. So thank you, everybody, and I'll just stop sharing this and go to the Q&A.
Yes, I can start. Questions?
So did you answer many questions during the presentation, Owner, or?
Yet. No, I haven't. I thought we would go together.
Oh, yeah, no, it's no problem. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you accept other pathway programs for English proficiency? No. You explained it. No pathways.
Yeah, so I think what the student maybe is alluding to is ESL school, like there's many ESL schools in Canada. So no, we don't. We have students that come from those ESL schools, but we do not have the how can I say, the valid pathway. So they would still need to take an IELTS or Duolingo and meet the requirement. Yes.
And people usually like it when we do it together, so they hear it directly from the right source. I know the answers to many things, but wanted to do it with you.
Yeah, sure.
One question you covered: master's programs, MBA, PhD, postgraduate. You said postgraduate, yes. Others, no.
Yes, postgraduate. That's what we in Langara we call it post degree, but it means postgraduate. So those are 2 year. I put them on there, the 10 programs. Those are 2-year postgraduate programs. They are eligible for the postgraduate work permit, but if the person is looking absolutely must have a master's or PhD, we don't have those programs. So I cannot offer something we don't have yet.
Doktora, master gibi şeyler yok ama üniversite mezunlarına özel postgrad programlar var. Yani üniversite mezunlarının gidebildiği sadece sertifika diploma programları. Onlar da bir anlam ifade ediyorlar diğerlerine göre. My question is to Onur Bey, could you please mention about student life in English, Turkish? It's a beautiful city. It never gets too cold, and there's a lot to do. It's very close to the US. If you want to go to Seattle, it's close to Victoria, Vancouver Island. It's very green. If you like snowboarding, if you like the nature, and it's very multicultural. It's very safe and quiet in Turkish. Çok güzel bir şehir, küçük bir şehir değil. Yeterince büyük bir şehir, 2,5 milyon nüfusu var ama dünyanın en güvenli 2 şehrinden biri diyorlar. Biri Auckland, New Zealand, birisi de Vancouver. They say that one of the 2 safest cities in the world, Auckland and Vancouver, I heard. Auckland, New Zealand, and Vancouver.
Well, I mean, it's like any place. I mean, you lived here. It's a fairly big city. I mean, to say that there's no crime, that's not the case. I mean, there's crime everywhere, but generally, yes, you can feel fairly safe. I mean,
nothing crazy. To be honest, I've never heard anything crazy in Vancouver, but it's quite safe in comparison to others.
That's yeah. Sorry, I lived for a number of years in Seoul, South Korea, and it's a very very big city, and it's really safe as well. But we get this kind of description that Canada is very boring, and but boring sometimes is good. It's nothing. You don't have to worry about any drama or anything like that. So yeah.
Safe is a key word for parents. Safe people like to hear. They're sending their kids usually. Yani güvenli bir şehir. Seattle'a çok yakın. Vancouver adası yani Victoria tarafına yakın. Gidebileceğiniz çok şey var. Doğayı çok seven, snowboarding, kayak yapmak isteyenler için çok uygun bir yer. 45-50 dakika. Multikültürel bir city diyeyim. Hani kozmopolit bir şehir. Çok fazla insan var. İngilizce Türkçeyi karıştırdık. Çok fazla ülkeden insan var. Yapılacak çok şey var. Öyle söyleyebilirim. Can you guarantee that we will have a job after graduation in Canada?
Sorry, can I just just before we get into the other questions, I just wanted to just tell everybody in the chat box, I put a link for the program guide. So if everybody looks in the chat box, you can see the link. If you click on that link, you will see the program guide that has all the programs that are for international students with the requirements, the tuition fees, the intakes, and so on like that. So please, you click on that, you can bookmark it and use that as a kind of resource for your reference. Anyway, sorry, go back to the questions.
Açıkladığı programlarla ilgili bir link koydu. Oraya girip bakabilirsiniz bütün detaylarına. I just translated what you said. Program, başvurular, detaylar, şartlar. So guarantee for a job after graduation? No.
Well, no. I mean, as I talked about in the presentation, the Co-op and Career Development Center, that is a really good resource for, helping the students get for their co-op term and for jobs. But ultimately, the students, to get any job, you have to apply, you have to interview, you have to beat the other people that are applying. So to guarantee jobs, it's not something where we can just,
Gregory, you know why this happens? There are some career colleges, they have co-op programs, and many agents, schools, they say, you will definitely get a job, we will place you. They give these false promises. So they want to know, but I can tell them now, no school can guarantee jobs. There's no school that can do that in Turkish. Hiçbir okul yapamaz bunu. Bazen okullar, özel kariyer kolejleri kesin mezun olduktan sonra size iş bulabiliriz falan diyorlar. Bunlar tamamıyla bir yalan. Çünkü hiçbir yer kimseyi zorla bir yerde çalıştırtamaz. O yere o kişiyi zorla aldırtamaz. Yani böyle bir şey unutun. Ama yardımcı olabilirler. Ders saydırma. Course credit transfer, you explained in length, but I also want to tell them it's a bit risky too when they want to get postgraduate work permit, because if they end up getting 10 transfer credits and that makes their length of study less than a year or less than 2 years, their postgraduate work permit length could change. I should mention that, but it's possible. After they apply and they come, they can transfer some credits.
Yes. Yeah. But
not that many.
Go ahead.
Right? Not that many. Even if they transfer, not that
many. There's a kind of limit there. So they have to be wary of the, for their postgrad work permit eligibility.
Ders transferi mümkün mü diye sormuş Samet Bey. Mümkün ama programlarda da belli bir limit var. Bütün dersleri transfer etmeniz ya da yarısı mümkün olmayabilir. Program sonuçta belli bir sürenin üstünde sizden eğitim istiyor. Ayrıca da diyelim ki 60 kredilik 2 senelik bir diploma programına girdiniz ve 15 kredi transfer edebildiniz, 45'e indirdi. Bu sayede de 1,5 sene okuyacaksınız o zaman. Yani 3 dönem. Böyle bir şey olursa siz yarın öbür gün postgraduate work permit almak istediğinizde, okuma sonrası çalışma izni, hükümet şunu diyebiliyor ama sen 2 seneden 4 dönemden az okumuşsun. Onun için ben sana vermiyorum 3 senelik izni. Sadece 1 sene veriyorum diyebilir. Kurs transfer konusu belki size zaman ve para tasarrufu sağlayabilir ama sonradan kalmak, çalışmak istiyorsanız bu planlarınızı sekteye uğratabilir. Dikkat etmeniz gerekir. Does the college want another exam? For health programs, there's no special exam, but they have to have a certain background.
So at Langara, because we get a lot of inquiries about doing nursing or people, as I said, we do have undergraduate Bachelor of Science in nursing, but it's not open to international students. So one option that, basically, if you want to be a nurse in Canada, you would have to come here, get a bachelor's degree, then apply for get the work permit, apply for permanent residency. But we do have the health science program. So we have a transfer, students can do a 2-year associate degree in health science and have a transfer to UBC, have a transfer to SFU for health sciences. And that's a very good, that will give you an idea if this is something that you want to continue and work in this field or to study in this field. So any kind of another exam, no, as long as you have graduated high school and you meet the English requirement, you can study health science.
There might be some science courses required as prerequisites, possibly, right?
No.
Or no?
No.
No, okay. Sağlık programlarına girmek için herhangi bir ekstra sınav.
I think though in that case though, they've probably taken high school biology and they've probably taken some, just as a, because they're probably
simple stuff. Yes.
Yeah, they're going to have to take that anatomy and biology and so on when they take those courses.
Yani belli çok spesifik dersler, biyoloji gibi bunları okumuşsanız, yani mesela dil eğitimi almamışsınız, mesela lisede sadece dil gördünüz, yabancı dil, ondan geçemezsiniz ama biyoloji gördünüz. Yani belli ufak tefek dersleri görmeniz lazım. Programa bakarsınız. Ekstra bir sınav yok sağlık programları için. Internship with a teacher, with an instructor from Langara, it's like a university, like teaching assistant and stuff. That's not really possible, is it? Is it possible? Becoming a teaching assistant, something?
I know we have volunteer positions. I don't know about teaching assistant. I don't believe they really utilize that much in the college. Mostly that like teaching assistant, or that's more at the university level. They, for third year students, fourth year students, but because most of the programs at Langara are first year, second year, we don't really have that.
Yani bir öğretmenle, oradaki bir profesörle çalışmanız, onun asistanı olmanız, yani üniversitede olduğu gibi pek mümkün değil. Çünkü bunlar genelde üniversite mezunlarına yapılan işler üniversitelerde. Zaten 1 sene, 2 senelik program olduğunda yani o profesörün, doçentin yanında çalışmak gibi imkanınız, öğretmenin yanında çalışmak gibi imkanınız olmaz. Someone is asking,
So there's the next 3 questions are in Turkish, so you're going to have to tell me what the question is.
Yeah, January 23, he wants to apply, and his Duolingo score is not good enough yet. He doesn't want to miss the deadline. He doesn't want the program to be full. So he says, if I apply, then can I provide my Duolingo score afterwards, get the full acceptance, and then apply with an unconditional letter of acceptance? I guess they are given a certain time frame to provide the Duolingo exam results.
So it will depend on which program the student wants to apply to. So if it's undergraduate, he probably has time. if it's undergraduate program, then we cannot. He can apply, but he will need to meet the English requirements. So until he gets his Duolingo, unless he's going to apply for LEAP first. But if he's going to get maybe he's got 105, or he wants to get the 110 in Duolingo, we probably will take applications for undergrad right up until September, October, even, right? So there's still time, but you need time to get the visa. So that's the issue.
That's also another thing. Yes, you're right.
I don't know. It would depend on which. It would just depend on which program. If he's applying for post-degree diploma program, those programs will likely be full.
Yeah, you said it last time. 2 of them are full all the way to like even May, right? PDD, some PDD programs.
4 of them are, yes.
4 of them. Oh, it's 4 now. Okay, I remember 2. Ali Kemal Bey, eğer undergrad yani lise mezunları, üniversite mezunları herkesin girebildiği programlardan biri ise zamanınız yüksek ihtimalle olur. Ama eğer postgrad, üniversite mezunu özel bir bölüm olacaksa şansınız çok düşük diyor. Hatta 4'ü dolu diyor. 4 tanesi doldu bile diyor. Onlarda o Duolingo'yu verme gibi bir imkanınız, yani geçme imkanınız olmaz. Bir de vize diyor. Bitecek, vereceğiz, ardından vizeye başvuracaksınız. O da sorun diyor ama ocağa vizeniz yetişir de çok dolu PDD programları, PDD Post Degree Diploma programları. Başvuracağınız bölüme, programa bağlı. 2022 Fall 2022 opens when? It's already open.
It's already open, yeah.
Setenay Hanım, 2022 sonbahar dönem başvuruları açık. Ya Avrupa gibi değil. Bazen öğrenciler Avrupa gibi düşünüyorlar. Orada 1-2 ay öncesinden başvurabiliyorsunuz. Kanada'da çok çabuk açılıyor ve çok çabuk doluyor. They're mixing it up with Europe. Europe, you can apply like 2 months before, a month before, get your visa so quickly. In Canada, you have to apply a long time in advance.
Yeah, so we're accepting the applications for September 2022, depending on the program, because some programs are full, the post-degree diploma programs, but for January 2023. We open up the application period 11 months before the intake starts. So for example, we opened up January 2023. We opened that up on February 1st, like last month. For May 2023, we will open that period from June 1st. So in a few months, we'll open that. So it's always 11 months before.
11 months. Yeah. Programlar her zaman 11 ay öncesinden açılıyorlar. 11 ay öncesinden hangi program istiyorsanız hangi tarihe onun başvurusu açılıyor. Yani Ocak başvuruları 1 Şubat'ta açıldı örneğin. Ocak 2023. 2022 sonbahar açık. If a person is an architect, can that person work as an architect in Canada? This is not your question. It's not a question you can answer.
Is this the last question there?
Yeah, Semi,
okay.
Correct.
Well, architecture, it's really hard. We don't have architecture programs at Langara. I mean, I don't know if this person's an architect. Sorry, I'm not understanding.
He's an architect. He says, if Türkiye'den mimar olarak mezun olduğunuzda, he says, if we graduate with an architecture degree, can we work? Is there any?
Well, yeah, because I mean, as long as the person is a permanent resident or has the post-grad work permit and they got the credential, then they can apply for the job in Canada. That's fine.
Yes, but to become a member of the board, of architects, things like that, he has to go through this. He has to investigate himself.
They have to check that out with the architecture association or board or governing body.
Yeah, something like that.
Keep in mind for architecture, there's only one school in British Columbia that has architecture, and that's UBC.
He might have to do actually schooling again. He might have to go to the university for a year, 2 years, something.
But what I'm saying is, in British Columbia, there's only one school that has architecture. UBC. So
UBC, yes, I'll just say that to him now. So maybe he'll have to do a few more years at UBC again in this, possibly. Semih Bey, yani geldikten sonra bakmanız gereken bir şey ama PR olmanız lazım. Burada oturum sahibi olmanız lazım. British Columbia eyaletinde mimarlık sadece UBC'de, University of British Columbia'da var. Belki birkaç sene daha okumanız gerekebilir. Yes, you're answering questions in Turkish as well. I guess you're following my answers.
No, I just see that I think I just figured that's the question that we're on.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yes.
I think we covered all of them, right?
the-
And we're up on 1 hour, I think, for our webinar.
Yes.
So,
And chats,
but-
there's no question. Done. Finito.
yeah. So I think yeah, please check the program guide that I linked in the chat box, and then where's the chat box again? Oh yeah. And feel free to directly email me or Owner. I think Owner put his email there, and
Yes, I did. I did our website, email address,
yeah,
everything.
and there's my email again. So thank you, everybody. I think maybe Zeynep will come back on here. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Gregory and Onur Bey. It was another great session with you. You covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers too.
And
Also, I would like to...
Sorry,
Yes,
before you just finish up, I just wanted to let everybody know that I will be sending a follow-up email with more information, with some links and a link to this video file, this recording, and also the presentation. And then Owner will also follow up with an email in Turkish with everybody. So feel free to reply to that or reply to Owner, and we'll connect with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Langara College ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adreslerinden Gregory ve Onur Bey'e ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, you guys. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you.
Teşekkürler.
Thank you, Owner.
Thank you. Herkese teşekkürler.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.